Brad, you're not going to believe this, but I was in a nightclub the other day and someone recognised me from this channel. So I said at the beginning of the next video we did, I would give a shout out to them because they bought me a drink. So, happy birthday, Jamie, even though you are a cunt. Given that Sigourney Weaver spent the last few decades on screen facing off against penis-headed monsters and usually coming out on top, it's no wonder that Sigourney Weaver is quite adept at slapping down dickheads in real life. Nowhere is this more apparent than when Weaver is asked about her height.
There are many moments in life where each of us has to find the badass in herself and kind of take care of business.
So how tall is Sigourney Weaver?
She's about 6 foot tall, aka the height that every man insists that he is. And she has a penchant of wearing high heels as well, with about 2 to 3 inch heels. So most of the time she's walking around at a comfortable 6'3", which has often left her finding herself at odds with a lot of men who are shorter than she is.
I've never really noticed that Sigourney Weaver's particularly tall.
It's usually because a lot of actors in their contracts have stipulations that they have to be at least as tall or taller than their female co-stars. I think like Tom Cruise is a famous example.
Yeah, I've heard Robert Downey Jr. does the same thing in the Avengers.
Yes, he does. So he's the same height as all the Chris's. He wears giant Cuban heels, and you better find a picture of this when he's behind the scenes, and you can just see him wearing this giant pair of boots, and he looks like a kid at Clark's, trying on his next year's school shoes. The thing is though, one of the few examples where they've done the opposite is also a comic book movie, and that is Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine. Because Hugh Jackman, I think, is like 6'1", 6'2". Wolverine is supposed to be 5'3". So in the very first X-Men movie, they tried to frame it so he was shorter than a lot of his co-stars to try and hold to that idea.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
The idea that Wolverine in the comics is 5'3". He's like this tall. It's ridiculous.
He's meant to be like scrappy and
yeah, because he's called the Wolverine, which is a small weasel creature that fights bears. But no, like in early movies they did try and do that. It's like, how do we work around the fact Hugh Jackman's just towering over all his co-stars and he's meant to be playing this guy who's known for being a little over 5 foot tall? It's, oh fuck it, no one really cares anyway. Now you may notice, Brad, that Sigourney Weaver being quite tall and towering over some of the male co-stars is absolutely 100% not her fucking problem. Would you like to hazard a guess at what some men have tried to do in the past?
Have they tried to make it her problem?
Yes, they have. Weaver has explained in interviews that she's genuinely lost out on roles before because of her height, and has reported walking into rooms, meeting her co-stars, seeing them stand up, realise they are shorter than her, and then sit back down, prompting her to leave the room. Directors have also approached Weaver and asked her to avoid wearing high heels on set so that she doesn't tower over her male co-stars.
So they said she's not allowed to wear heels?
No one has told Sigourney Weaver that she's not allowed to wear heels, but she's reported that directors have come up and strongly advised her to turn up wearing flats so that she wouldn't tower over her male co-stars and make them feel inadequate or uncomfortable about their own height.
Oh no.
Oh yes, and do you know what the best response is from Sigourney Weaver about this?
What did she say?
During one film where a director made this request, she walked over and said, look, if it's that big a problem that I'm taller than my co-star, how about I paint my fucking feet to look like a pair of shoes so I'm shorter? Will that work for you?
So did this director actually take that offer seriously?
As far as I'm aware, no, because the magnitude and density of the fuck Sigourney Weaver did not give at that moment prevented any words from escaping his lips.
I'm guessing she started being a bit more belligerent with these arseholes now that she's become famous.
No, she's been doing it since the start of her career. In acting school, Sigourney Weaver was told, you're too tall, you're too awkward and too gangly to be an actress. I believe her own mother said she was too plain, which didn't stop her from pursuing acting. In acting school, she reported that she was often passed over on roles because of her height, though I would like to imagine the fact that Meryl Streep was also in her class probably had something to do with it. You know, Meryl Streep, the person like all the Oscars in the world.
When they called my name, I had this feeling I could hear half of America going, oh no, her, again, you know?
Despite all these setbacks, she still continued to pursue an acting career and still continued to wear high heels and look fabulous while doing so.
But you know, I thought, gosh, I guess if they want you, they'll put up with your height.
So were some people advising her not to wear high heels?
A lot of people in her career. It wasn't just directors later in her career saying, can you please take those off, you make your male co-stars feel uncomfortable. It was her friends and her peers who would say, look, Sigourney, you're quite tall, some men find that intimidating, When you go to auditions, don't wear high heels and don't dress too suggestively. Advice Sigourney Weaver decided to ignore the shit out of when she auditioned for Alien.
So what was she wearing when she auditioned for Alien?
Well, Sigourney Weaver rocked up to that audition wearing, in her own words, thigh-high hooker boots with a 3-inch heel, the tightest pair of pants and shirt she owned, while carrying the emptiest bag of fucks in her closet.
She had an afro. Had high heels on. She was like 7'6".
Just for a second, Brad, let me set this scene. Imagine you are Ridley Scott. You're sat in your chair. You've been trying to cast this role all day when the door bursts open. In swaggers this 6'3" woman wearing thigh-high boots with a 3-inch heel and the tightest pair of trousers you have ever goddamn seen in the tiniest little top. She swaggers into the centre of the room like Gypsy fucking Danger, strikes a power metal stance and says, "I am here to audition." What do?
I would hire her on the spot.
That's exactly what Ridley did. This is a person who's going to beat up that goddamn alien. And all these like weak-ass men like coming in and timidly reading their lines. She kicked the fucking door down and strutted in like a cowboy about to shoot someone at high noon. This woman deserves to be in my movie.
Just stamping on those alien heads with her high heels.
That's what she's doing. She's crushing alien testicles under the high heels, man. Don't give a fuck.
Get away from her, you bitch!
During her Alien audition, did Ridley Scott just never mention her height?
It never came up, no. According to Sigourney Weaver, during the ensuing conversation they had about why he cast her to play Ellen Ripley, the only thing he ever mentioned was her confidence as being the main reason he thought, like, you're the right person for the part. Her height never came up. And according to Sigourney Weaver, like, Ridley Scott, who is a few inches shorter than she is in real life out of heels, is just a really secure guy, so he's not bothered about stuff like that. A compliment apparently half of fucking Hollywood will never get from Sigourney Weaver.
So Karl, how tall are you?
I think I mentioned it in one or two videos, I'm 6'3"-ish.
Have you had any problems with being a tall guy?
Yeah, in these videos, I think people watching at home might notice that my head pokes off the top of the screen sometimes, because obviously you're a bit shorter than I am when you arrange the camera, you do it, and my head just pokes off the top. I don't know why that is. That's always annoyed me.
There's the occasional video where your head is fully visible and you mention it to me every time. Oh look, Brad, you can see my head in this video.
It's just so strange. It's like the tripod, just put it up a little bit higher, it's not hard.
It's the highest it goes.
Wait, I can see the camera. Well, I think my head's going off the top in this one as well, for fuck's sake. The thing I like about it is I got properly measured when I went to a health centre, like to their gym. Because my mate worked there for a bit. So I'll properly measure you so you can get your actual height. Because I was sick of every person I met giving me the wrong fucking height. Because as I mentioned earlier in the video, every guy insists that he's 6 foot tall. If someone's 5'10" or 5'11", they're not, they're 6 foot. My brother, I believe, is like 5'10", and for years and years and years when I was growing up, he always said he was 6 foot tall. So when I had my growth spurt and overtook him, how tall do you think he said I was when I noticed? Well, I'm like 2-3 inches taller than you, Gary. And he'd go, oh no, you must be like 6'4", 6'5". And for years I operated under that assumption, because I go to pubs and you get blokes, fucking hell, you're tall. It's like, I didn't notice, thanks. He goes, how tall are you then? And I say, well, I don't know, like 6'2", 6'3". Like, my mum once measured me with a tape measure. Said, you're like, Karl, you're 6'2", 6'3". That's the way it's done. Like, no, you must be 6'4", 6'5", because I'm 6 foot. And that is how my life went for years and years and years and years, until I got properly measured and I am 6'2 3/4", which I don't know what that means. And then when I told someone that, the next fucking day, they don't know, it's obviously wrong. I went, why? Because I'm 6 foot and you're way taller than me. And I went, I'm sorry that I'm the one who has to break this to you, but I don't think you're 6 foot tall. And the guy got really annoyed about it. Well, no, you're not. The machine was wrong. You remember the machine? Yeah, the machine has definitely got a reason to lie. Unlike you, person who's obviously got a reason to be entirely accurate about how tall certain objects are.
I think they've got a point, Karl, because I'm 6 foot.
We've mentioned this in videos before, haven't we? We can't put pictures of me and you in the same end of the video. Because the ending title slide was going to be me and you, wasn't it? Because of our height difference, it just looked ridiculous.
If anyone's interested, if you go on our the Twitch channel,
I think
you
so,
can
yeah.
see a picture where I've put obviously the comical thing of removing my face, but I've had to do a massive angle on it because my face is like 10 foot below Karl's.
It's just so baffling that every bloke insists on being this height, especially when it's like really easily disproven.
It's funny that people will challenge you when you know what your height is.
Yeah, I got measured properly as like a teenager because I was so sick of people telling me like, you must be 6'4" or something. I'm like, Mum, how fucking tall am I? 'Cause I don't know. I've got teachers telling me because they don't want to admit they're not 6 foot tall. What the hell is going on? And she got a tape measure out and says, Karl, you're 6'2" and a bit. And I think I've grown a bit since then, evidently. Either that or my mum was lying. I'm on to you, Mum. And then like I'd go to people with this information in hand and they'd say, well, you're wrong. I was measured by a tape measure and it's wrong. How? Because I know how tall I am. Have you ever measured yourself? No, I don't need to. And that's the one that gets me when you ask them, it's like, so when's the last time you measured yourself? And say, well, I don't need to because I know how tall I am. So I'm assuming there's a lot of women watching as well. They know blokes who are packing 7 inches. They all know. They all know.
It's always that, isn't it?
It's like, have you ever measured? No, I know how big it is.
But yeah, I've noticed before that people have said that I'm wrong about my height because they're the same height as me.
Oh, and they don't.
Yeah, they don't want me. I'm 5'7". They're like, well, you can't be because I'm 5'9". It's like, no, you're not, mate. No, you're not.
Oh man, I love stuff like that because it's like you're comfortable in your height. What as you told me, one of your first girlfriends was 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah, my first girlfriend was 6'1", but she always wore heels.
Ah, yeah.
But then back then I was a little bit conscious about it because I'm one of those people who I used to say, oh, I'm 5'7" and a half.
Oh no.
It's one of those people, but I just gave up and I'm like, yeah, I'm 5'7". I'm probably a half in the morning.
Just own it, mate. Own it, mate. It's fine. Everyone's got an extra half inch in the morning.
I spent most of my time in school with 2 guys who were 6'3" and 6'4", and now I spend a lot of time with you. I can't exactly hide
when
it.
you're walking around, you just look like a Japanese mob boss, don't you? Just walking on, these are my 2 enforcers.